Get ready, folks. We are about to suffer through what is called shrinkflation in the housing market. What is it? What does it have to do with us? What's going on in mortgage? What is all good with the one and only Matt, the mortgage guy? Shrinkflation, huh? Coming to the housing market?
Yes, sir. I mean, part of me thinks it's the answer, to be quite honest. You know, when there's all this talk around affordability, and as a mortgage advisor, like that's a conversation with almost every single client is like
Yeah.
these prices, these interest rates, this neighborhood, how am I going to make it work? Right. And
Yeah.
for first time home buyers, they're driven by monthly payment more than
Agreed.
anything else. And so a lot of times it's like, how do I fit in this $3,400 to $3,600 a month or whatever that number is for you, wherever you are in the country? And if home prices aren't coming down and if interest rates aren't significantly dropping, or if rates come down and prices go up, like one of the ways you might solve is like Lennar's doing in San Antonio, building the 600
I,
square foot house. At the very least, I saw this stat, Mike, uh, from 22 to 23,
okay.
the average, the median single family home was down 4% in
Okay.
size.
Mhm.
Hadn't been that small since 2010. I
Oh,
think me
wow.
and you both think that 23 to 24, we're going to see another decrease in the median
I hope
single
so.
family home.
I hope so. I hope it's 5%. I last year was the largest drop we've seen in decades. That drop of 4%. I hope this year is 5% or more.
Yeah,
I think
and
you're
I
right.
think
I
it
think the
very
answer
well
is smaller
could
homes.
be with builders, more of them doing smaller builds and
Yep.
realizing that that's what people want is a smaller price point, which leads to a smaller mortgage payment that
Yeah.
they
I
want to
heard.
buy. They want to be homeowners. I want to play a fun game, Mike, if you'll
Okay.
entertain this.
Of course.
And so this is the point in the video where everybody pauses and they make their own guesses. I've
Okay.
got three numbers: average size of a new US home. I've got the number from 1950, from
Okay.
1970, and 2014. So I'm
Okay.
going to
Okay.
ask you to guess, and then I'm going to give
Mhm.
the answer. If you're listening to this video, you can guess, put your answer in the comments before
Yeah.
you fast forward and see the answers. What do you think the average size of a new US home was in 1950?
So I bought a lot of 1950s homes. They're all seem to be below 1100. I'm gonna go. This is median, right? Median or
Um,
average?
the
I guess it
stat I
doesn't
saw
matter.
said average.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's
So
do
so you
average.
so if you're in California, there might be some smaller stuff, you know.
I'll go. Oh, that's true. The nation, huh? I'm not going to change my opinion. I'm going to go with straight eights. 888. 888 square feet.
That was a very good guess. That was
Oh,
close. 983.
yeah, I'm 10%. I'm close.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, some of the bigger stuff might have pulled up the average, but 1950 average size of a new US home is 983 square feet. Over the next 2 decades, going into 1970,
Hmm.
how much do you think that grew? What do you think the 1970 average is?
So I bought a bunch of 1970s homes. They are certainly bigger. They certainly have an extra bedroom. Most have an extra bath. I'll go 1387.
Man, this is the somebody who's got investment properties and has bought a lot of real estate. Like you cheating, Mike. 1,500 square feet. Again,
Oh, damn it. I was
within
going to
100
go
square
14.
feet, I think is pretty dang good. Within 10%, again.
Nice. Nice.
uh
Okay.
1,500 square foot home. And then the age of McMansions, we
Yeah.
started building and growing and
I do
uh
not own any of these.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
So 2014, I think it's no surprise to everybody. This number is going to be bigger. What do you think?
I'll go 2350.
2675.
26?
2675.
Oh, that's
Which
wild.
which is funny. I had a conversation yesterday with a buddy of mine, Mark McDonough. He's a Sacramento realtor. He said like multiple people on his YouTube channel has been requesting you. So I'm gonna ping
Okay.
you and see
Oh, of course.
you'll entertain hanging out with him on one of his Wednesday lives.
Of
Um,
course.
But me and him were talking. It's hilarious because I'm talking to him about Lennar doing 600 square foot houses in San Antonio. And he's like, do you see what's being built in Lincoln? In Lincoln, California, they're building 6,000 square foot homes.
Shush.
I don't know who's doing it.
6,000.
I don't
Wow.
know who the builder is.
Lincoln.
But
Well, I mean, Lincoln's like 45 minutes from Sacramento, right?
yeah, Lincoln's
Yeah.
like, you know,
It's
Rockland, Roseville,
yeah.
Lincoln.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
so I'll look into it, but yeah, that's the
6,000.
opposite of the shrinkflation we're seeing in other parts of the country with other builders trying
Yeah,
to get.
I don't know if this is true, but I heard about that San Antonio, right? 661 square feet. Shout out Lennar. I think Lennar's onto something. I hope more follow. But what was really interesting was the price point, right? The price point, if memory serves, is like 180 to 190,
Yeah, I thought I heard they started at 150 and some
or
sold
maybe
at
it's 150 to
159.
160. Yeah,
Yeah,
something
I
like
mean,
that.
they might be up to that because I would imagine there's a ton of demand and really just like talking out loud in case anybody hears and wants some advice. Like you don't attack the housing problem from the demand side. Like
Yeah,
that's
you don't give away free money. More
I'm pretty
demand.
convicted on that. Like, do not do that. Dumb, dumb, dumb.
Dumb, dumb, dumb.
I would say if you wanted to put policies in place, incentivize builders, help
Yeah.
builders, say, you know, 2,800 square foot lot, 600 square, like whatever you have to do to make it to where that cost for them is
Yeah.
lowered and they can pass that on to end consumer.
Yeah.
People want homes.
Yes, they
And
do.
they're already used to living in a 2 bedroom, 1 bath, 500 square foot apartment, Mike. Like, why not give them
Yeah.
a
Again, I
yard
I
and no
think
shared walls
yeah,
and
home
give it to them for
ownership.
200
Yeah,
grand?
home ownership is clearly the path to getting wealthy for most people. It is their biggest thing. If we can get them on the property ladder with a 150, 180K home, even if it's small, it's great. Um, it's just the right answer. It just has to be. Frankly, it has to be. There's lots of things to do this, but this has to be one of the main answers. Is let's go smaller with smaller, and then let's just remind people what happens next. Your favorite crash bro is going to say that the new home prices have crashed 30%, 40%. And again, mathematically, they will be right. They are fools and clowns that are trying to hurt you. Their smaller homes cost less. What they should be doing is cost per square foot. And I bet you cost per square foot will go up in a,
Right.
661 square
There's
foot home.
still demand for housing. Some quick stats that are somewhat forward looking. When you're talking about the loan cycle, somebody gets pre-approved, somebody puts in an offer, they get the offer accepted, they lock their loan. So it's not a closed
So
loan
a lock
yet.
is a commitment.
Right.
Okay.
February locks 2024 up 7% from January.
Okay.
Some people say, oh, it's seasonality, it's January to February. Last year, 2023, January to February saw an uptick of 2%. So the market is heating up earlier than it was last year for the, quote unquote, spring buying season. So despite all the problems that we have, people want to buy homes. There's 12,000 people a day turning 35. The average age of a first-time home buyer is in that range. And like, I have those conversations every single day, Mike, where it's like, you guys have kids yet? No. Plan is buy a house, settle in, have some kids. Yeah. Just had two kids. We're looking at buying a house. Like that's the age where people are doing that more than other age demographics for first-time home buyers. So one more quick stat too, because I know me and you talked about like, is there refinance going on? February origination numbers nationwide, everybody. 86% purchase, 14% refinance.
Oh.
And I would say
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Companies like us that are more purchase focused and aren't like jamming the phones, that's even more purchase. So it might be like 92.8, but as a whole, the whole origination channel is 86.14. And so, deals are happening. I just got off a call with the number one wholesale lender in the country. UWM over the last couple of weeks is seeing 2,000 loan imports a day. And so
now, okay, 2,000 loan imports, the way you're saying it, it sounds great, but I in my audience doesn't have scale. What was it a month ago or a year ago? Or
I mean, I would guess that that is up, and I would say that it's like their total origination number might be up this year 30% from last year, which is a
okay,
slow year. You know, it's not
yeah,
any, they were probably doing 4 or 5,000 a day in 21. So it's like,
right, yeah,
it's,
we're
it's,
we're
it's
way
not
down
that.
from the peak nonsense.
Yeah. And I say the big number to garner attention to the people that are like, nobody's buying
Oh yeah, of
7%.
course.
The
No, dude,
market's dead. Nobody's buying. Well,
dude, I'm
2,000
talking to
people
agents every
bought
day.
yesterday.
Multiple offers are back. It's mine. And again, rates. We got a hot inflation reading again, and at least as of yesterday, I haven't seen today's numbers. Rates are still below 7.
Right. Yeah. Rates are pretty flat on that news. They didn't get the reaction that, you know, some of us quite honestly were like, oh shoot, what's going to happen when the,
Yeah.
you know,
I think the longer rates stay in the 6s, the marginal buyer who's pissed off and frustrated, they move. I think if rates go above 7, they pause. I think it's that simple at this point. I think 701 is vastly different than 699. I think it's that fine a line. Even though the dollar payment is like 8 cents or whatever on a 30-year loan, I just think I think buyers have a mental number on that side of the fence bad, this side of the fence good.
yeah,
That's where I'm
that's what
at.
me and Mark talked about yesterday you know, buyers today are more sensitive to smaller changes.
Yeah,
And, you know, the small change between 6.9 and 7.1 is something that matters with
I think
today's
so.
buyer.
Psychological
Um,
number. Yep.
yeah. And, you know, they're more picky. They're taking their time. They're more educated. There's more information out there. So
Yeah.
it's a different
Here's
world.
a wild question I did not prep you for. So if you don't know, it's totally cool. But again, assuming owner occ, best credit, big down payment, roughly speaking, are we talking a full point to get somebody sub 6.5?
Yes.
A full point. Okay.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. So again, you have to reach out to him to get your situation. I was just curious.
Yeah,
Um,
everybody's going to be different, but yeah, I looked at some yesterday where we were, you know, small cost at 699, point and a half at 6.5.
okay.
And it's an interesting time because this is something I think will help people out too. Like when you're buying a home and if you're looking at multiple interest rates, I don't know as a guy who's originated $1 billion in loan, just like
Mm,
Mike doesn't know, just like you don't know what the future of rates is.
yep.
So we're all going to do what is, you know, best educated guess based on the information we have. So, you know, quick example, yesterday I'm talking to a client. We can go 7.5, 7.375, or 6.99. And we look at the cost of those rates versus the monthly savings.
Sure.
And what we determined at almost all of those rates, if they paid a little bit to buy the rate down and save monthly, the break even was like 21 months. And
Mm,
I said, you might be in it for 2 years. You might not. But I told them, I said, listen, no matter what you decide, if rates are better and you refinance in 15 months, it's not the end of the world. You're not going to be like, oh my
yeah.
gosh, I spent 3,200 up front. Why'd I do that? I only recouped 2,750 of it.
Yeah.
It's fine. And so it's personal preference. The
Hmm.
$130 a month, does that matter more to you than the 3,200 up front or whatever those numbers are? And
Right.
you decide. I'm doing more of that where
Yeah.
it's less
You're
sunk.
just saying, here are the
Right.
numbers. There you go. For me,
And
it's 21 months is a tough call. For me, it's 18 months. Again, it's just a hard and fast rule for me. Sub 18 months, buy the point all day. Over 18, you got to think about it. Certainly over anything over 36 is like, what are you kidding me?
right.
But
Yeah.
between
And
18 and
buying the rate
36 is
down
personal
and
choice.
spending the money, like I tell people, it's a little bit of an insurance policy.
Yeah.
If rates don't come down or something happens where you aren't in a position to refinance because of a job change or something, then like you've got that insurance of that rate, 699, you're saving $130 versus if you didn't buy it down. And so yeah, it's a fun math thing for me to look at,
Yeah.
but I'm not looking at it so I can solve it and say you must do this. I'm looking at it so I can help people understand
Amazing.
this is the break even. Here's all the data. You let me know what works best for you and your financial situation. All mortgage situations are unique,
Yep.
and everybody's goals and things that are important to them are unique. So that's what we're trying to help people with. On
Very
that front.
cool. Well, if somebody want to reach out to you and have this conversation and see what's in their unique situation, how would they do that?
Greatmortgagebroker.com. Just fill out the quick form. We're licensed in 48 states, and we're more than happy to help talk all that fun number stuff and whatever other questions you have about real estate and mortgage. Greatmortgagebroker.com.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Mike.